Hey everybody, Dirty Side gets down, and today we are assembling and testing a 3D printer. I'm not really a person that does 3D printing, so this will be a good one.
Dirty Side gets technical. We may not know everything, but our stuff almost always works sometimes.
So if you saw the last episode where we made the press brackets, I mentioned 3D printing the test brackets for the press just to see if they were going to fit and work like I planned. This is the first time I'd ever really drawn anything in CAD and just trying to get my hands on things. I've had this 3D printer for a while. Let me come over here and show you. Now normally I'd clean my mess up so y'all didn't see it, but I kind of wanted you to see I work on this thing more than I print with it. I got it about 4 years ago and fought with it for a couple months, put it away for like 3 years, and then decided when I needed to print these brackets that it was coming back out again. When I pulled it back out, the old software I used to use wasn't around anymore, or it was, but there was updates and things. So I had a little bit of luck right out of the gate. It printed okay, got some things done. I mean, you saw the press brackets. You know, it did okay on these press brackets and stuff like that. But I've had nozzle clogs, I've had bed level issues, I have all kinds of stuff. Now, I know I bought a cheap 3D printer, and I thought maybe I could kind of work my way through it. I just don't have the patience for it. So I picked this one up after seeing some videos on YouTube. It seemed like it did pretty decent out of the box and wasn't going to require me to be a professional 3D printer guy. But with that said, every video I saw on it was somebody that 3D prints all the time. So I 100% paid for this, didn't get a discount, nothing. The company has no idea that I'm even making this video. And so you're gonna see exactly what it's like for somebody that doesn't have 3D printing experience to put this thing together and use it. Now, I know this is primarily an automotive channel, and you're probably like, why are you putting a 3D printer together on this channel? If you like to make your own parts, 3D printers are pretty good. You can make actual parts you're going to use. You can make prototype parts to then have made in other ways. It's a pretty useful thing for people that make their own stuff for cars. So, you know, just follow along. All right, let's open this thing up and see what we got. That's a nice instruction manual. When do you get that these days? So I did see people say that these were mostly assembled, and that does look really assembled. Much better than that last one I put together. It's definitely looking like not much work's going to be needed here. And this was all stuff I had to put together on the other one. I'm pretty excited. So this is kind of nice. I don't know if you can see that. The bag says step 1, so you know the first step in the process, you need these screws. Digging that. Step 2 is mounting the display. Now we'll get the power supply on here. Now the extruder. One thing too I want to say here while I'm doing this, every tool I'm using to put this together came in the kit. It was a pretty complete kit, it looks like, so far. We're not done yet. this part, which is all all the controls. Well, that's kind of cool. You don't even need tools for that. Gotta have your trusty filament holder. Alright, so this is one area I am going to make a change. This filament holder is just a piece of plastic, no bearings, no nothing. It's going to cause some drag on the spool as you're trying to feed it in there. So I took this one off of my old 3D printer, and it has bearings. It's exactly the same, it's going to fit right in there, and we're going to use this instead. So that's one negative to this thing. So far it's been all positive. It's nice that the design of that was exactly the same though, so no modification, bolts right on. And not to say anything good about that last printer, because I added that, it didn't come with it. Spin this dude around and get some things hooked up here. How about it? Also, you want to make sure that you set it for your power. Here in the US, we are 120 volt. A lot of other countries are 220, 230, whatever you want to call it. Now, if you hook this up to too low a power, most likely it's just not going to do anything if you're in the US. But if you're in another country and it's set to 115, you might cause some problems putting 220 to it. Alrighty, well now we're on to bed leveling. I mean, that was, how quick was that? And that we power up. So while that's heating up, I just want to say, very literally, I'm not exaggerating, that last 3D printer probably took me 10 times as long to put together as this. That was nothing. So as long as it works as well as it goes together, we're going to be in good shape. Also, I know you're thinking about it. Don't knock my long granite. I use this because it's perfectly flat and it's heavy. It makes the 3D printer more stable, and I just haven't had a chance to cut it off yet. So now we're checking the bed for level, or calibrating it for the level of the bed. Well, now I'm going to do something that's not really my style, but I'm just going to put the included SD card in there. I think there's some stuff on it, and let's just print something that's on it. Now I will say, when I watched it bed leveling, it looks like the nozzle's kind of far away from the bed. But maybe that's just part of the process and it doesn't actually get as close as it's supposed to, so let's just see what happens. Everybody says you print a benchy the first time, and I've never once printed a benchy, so maybe that's what was wrong with my last printer. Let's see. Yeah, just like I thought. The nozzle was just a tad high, and I realized I just looked at the directions and I skipped a step. So my fault, not the printer's fault. I skipped a pretty important step here, which is probing the Z offset. Alright, I think I got the nozzle height sorted out, so let's give this another shot. So I didn't realize the camera wasn't plugged in doing the time lapse, so it cut off. But man, look at that. Tiny little bit of stringing, which I'm sure I can get rid of with a little temperature reduction or retraction settings. Man, straight out of the box, did nothing, and that's what we get. All right, now we got that test print out of the way, time to print something useful. I wish I could tell you what this was, but you'll just kind of see it, and I'll let you know here in a couple episodes what it actually is. Well, I can't tell you what this thing is, but this is the finished product. Some of my measurements are a little bit off, so I got to work on that. I'm learning CAD from the start here, so I'm not sure how I got those measurements off, but they definitely are. But you can see the quality is pretty good. So that's going to do it for this episode. This thing is incredible. I mean, you can see what it's printing right now. really can't believe the quality of it. I think I'm going to be getting a bunch of use here in the Dirty Side Gets Down shop. So do all the likes and comments and shares, all that stuff. Here in the next couple episodes, I'm going to be able to tell you what that thing is that this is printing parts for. It's just not something I can put out there right now, but we're getting close. So we'll see you in the next one.